Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Poncho here, showing off my new X Arcade. I love this thing so much. It's been a childhood dream of mine for so long to have an arcade unit in my house, and it's finally coming true. Basically, I want to do a quick overview of what this is and some basic information. This is called the Extension Arcade. You can get it from RecRoomMasters.com. These guys are awesome. I'll go over, the build of it and everything. Basically, it's just a cabinet. You got to provide your own, computer or whatever you want to put in the cabinet, and you got to provide your own monitor and your own controls. But basically, the cabinet couldn't be easier to put together. I have no experience, like little to no experience of woodworking and stuff like that, and this was so easy to put together. It was just easy. It took about maybe an hour if I condense all the time down into it. But basically, you put your monitor in, you put your controls in. I have the X Arcade dual stick. I decided to go against the tank stick because the games that use the trackball, I was never really interested in those types of games, so I figured I'd save a little bit of money. Plus, I found this on Craigslist for about $50, which was a pretty good deal. A lot of people put PCs in here, but right now, as you can see, I have my old busted Xbox 360 in here. Let's go and get that in focus. Yeah, it's she's really trying, and I appreciate it. And I have my regular Xbox in here, which is soft modded, and I'll go into that a little bit more. So let's go ahead and stick you on the tripod. We'll get into everything in more detail. Zoom in so you can see. Alright. So basically, this is my arcade. This right here is running off the original Xbox. It's a front end called Visionary, and it is incredible. If you're familiar with the arcade scene, PC arcade scene, you're obviously familiar with Hyperspin, which is a front end for the PC. Basically, people wanted to put that same experience, but you can access it through the original Xbox, and this is what it is. It's basically a front end, and it puts everything in these neat folders where, it has, title cards, it has, videos and stuff like that. Cool side art pops up, you'll see in a second. See, it's incredible, it's awesome. And basically I have everything in these main folders, and the folders go as such. It's Arcade Classics, which is basically just, some of the classics are put in this folder. You can find the same games that are in this folder among other folders in the system, but it's never a duplicate of the ROM. They just link they just all link back to a master ROM folder, so you never have to recopy over ROMs. Over here you have Console Classics, and I'm putting all my console games in here. Doesn't matter which console it comes from. NES, MSX, Genesis, N64, PS1. Surprisingly, the Xbox can emulate PS1 fairly well, so there are a couple of PS1 games in here, and these are all going to be thrown into the Console Classics. Handheld Classics obviously speaks for itself. It's going to have all the handheld games. It supports pretty much almost every handheld up until the Game Boy Advance era, which is pretty incredible. Xbox games, I went ahead and ripped some Xbox games onto here. A lot of games like fighting games, you got Soul Calibur 2, Panzer Dragoons on here. A lot of games that really just don't have to utilize both analog sticks at once. You can use a dual analog stick mode with the X Arcade stick, but I just wanted to stay away from that. Just cool games like Ninja Turtles and Gauntlet and stuff, and Godzilla Destroy All Monsters and Soul Calibur. I put in this folder. Now, obviously, I got a Dragon Ball Collection folder. I'm quite proud of this folder because I did everything in this myself. Aside from the video, which is actually an opening video for a YouTuber, Pro Jared, his Dragon Ball game video, I went ahead and borrowed some stuff from there, added a little bit in the front and a little bit at the end. But I assembled all the slide art, assembled everything in here, so it's pretty cool. It's got every single Dragon Ball game that I would want to play on my arcade, and I got it in here. I'll go through it in a moment. Mega Man Collection, I'm a huge Mega Man fan. Pokemon Collection. I probably won't be playing any of the RPGs actually on the cabinet, but for games like Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Snap, I definitely want to put in here, as well as the trading card game, and maybe some of the mystery dungeons, I don't know. And then from here on out, from arcade games and beat 'em up and Fight Club, racers, run and gun, shooter, shoot 'em ups, this one was 3D shooters, sports classics. These are all arcade games, so you have all your classic arcade games in here, and it's really awesome. action games is pretty much the only games that wouldn't fit into either of these categories. So even though it says action games, you're probably going to see like Bubble Bobble in there, maybe Tetris, something like that. Other puzzle games will fit into here, as well as Pac-Man and stuff. Just a lot of cool stuff in here. I downloaded a Commodore 64 pack, which is pretty cool, as well as a Laserdisc pack for the classics Dragon's Lair and Space Ace and stuff like that. I also have Psycho Emulator for shoot 'em ups, pretty cool, which I'm actually going to take this whole folder and I'm going to stick it into the shoot 'em ups folder. It doesn't seem, logical to have two shoot 'em up folders. Then I have a link straight to Xbox Media Center if I want to go ahead and do some file management and stuff like that. Really just depends. And there's also a Zelda pack that I downloaded, and I might keep it. I might do some other stuff with it. And there's a shutdown button. But the thing I'm most proud of is actually the Dragon Ball folder. So let's go ahead and go into that. And right here you got Super Battle, which is the arcade game. You got Super Battle 2, the popular sequel. You got Advanced Adventures, which is a really fun game. Hyper Dimension, also incredible. Legends, which is a very underrated PlayStation 1 game, and a very underrated Dragon Ball Z game. Really fun, really fast-paced, perfect for the arcade. As well as Final Bout, which honestly sucks, but I want it on here anyway, it's fun. And I got Supersonic Warriors, which I feel would be very, very fun to play on the arcade. Once again, another underrated Dragon Ball title that came out for the Game Boy Advance. And also Battle 22, which sucks, but, I had to put it on here. So, that's basically it for all the stuff on my regular Xbox. Let me go ahead and make a quick example of going into the games and exiting and out and stuff like that. It's lagging behind a little bit. I'm not sure why. It wasn't doing that before. I want to say it's lagging a little bit because I put component cables in here and it's having to do it in 1080 and not 1080p, 720p. And I think that might have to do a little bit with why it's slowing down a little bit, but I'm not an expert on this stuff, so I could be wrong, but it only started lagging behind after I made that upgrade. So, that's where I stand on it. Okay, so now it's loaded up, and let's go ahead and pan the camera down so you can see these controls. Yeah. And this button on the side right here is the coin button, so you press this to, put coins in the machine. And then you can also press the start button for start, obviously. And you just go ahead and you choose your character, and everything works just as fine. Now, if there are certain games that don't utilize all 8 buttons, just only the buttons that work will be usable. So this game is relatively old. It came out during the time, I think, of Street Fighter 2 when fighters became very, very popular. It's not admittedly the best Dragon Ball Z game. But it's cool to have in the arcade, and it's cool to mess around with. So if you ever want to exit a game, just hold this, which is mapped to the back button on the Xbox controller, and the start button. So hit them at the same time, and it takes you back into Visionary, and it also takes not only back into Visionary, but it takes you back into the last spot that you were at. So we're playing Super Battle, so it booted straight into Super Battle. Now another thing I forgot to mention about this little controller stick is it's actually plugged into the Xbox through a device that maps it to the buttons that are on Xbox. So basically what I'm saying is the button down here, which I was pressing for coin, is back. This is start. This is obviously the analog stick, or it could be the D-pad. And this is X, Y, A, B, left, right, and black and white. And you can switch between a couple of different modes with the Xbox, original Xbox, by holding back and pressing certain keys. You can switch between a dual stick mode where you can use both of these sticks for doing something. One analog stick for this, and another analog stick for this. You can switch it to analog or digital pad mode by pressing back and X at the same time, I think, or back and Y, and it turns it into either the analog stick or the D-pad, which I think is pretty cool. So that's basically it for the Xbox side of things. Let's go ahead and switch it to the Xbox 360 side of things. Now, hold on one second. Alright, and here we are in the Xbox 360 version of things. Now, basically, my Xbox 360 is JTagged, which means it's modded. It's a hard mod that you do through a whole bunch of stuff I'm not going to bore you with. But basically it allows you to run unsigned code on the Xbox, and it basically lets you boot up into stuff like this. This is called the Freestyle Dash, and it's basically just a replacement of the dashboard where you can access all your unsigned code, all your apps, all your games and stuff like that. And I'm going to go ahead and take you through a quick tour of what that's like, or what that is like. So, here's the Xbox 360 side of things, where all my Xbox 360 games are kept. Arcade games are kept here, as well as Xbox One games. And I know what you're saying, even though I have an Xbox One in here, why keep some of these Xbox One games on the Xbox 360? The cool thing about this is it actually upscales a lot of these games and makes them look really cool. So I keep this around. Got some homebrew on here, as well as some emulators, and it's got Weather, X-Link, Kai, all that stuff. And if you go down, you can do plugins, basic settings, a file manager, skins. You can rip games directly onto the hard drive. I got a pretty big hard drive in here. I think I want to say it's a 1 terabyte hard drive, as well as a 250 gig hard drive as well. And that's basically it. So let's head into Xbox 360. It takes a while to load up all this stuff. Alright, and just like Visionary, it boots into the last thing you selected. So last time I had my favorites selected, and these are a couple of my favorite games. Stuff that I put in this folder is stuff that you can easily play on the X Arcade. Maybe besides SSX, I haven't really tested to see how well that would work, but I mean, I'm testing it. But I got games in here like Ultimate Ninja Storm 2 and 3. I got this cool Japanese fighting game, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, Super Street Fighter, Sonic, pretty cool shoot 'em up, NBA Jam, Mortal Kombat vs. DC, which actually wasn't half bad. It gets a lot of rap online, but you know, I think it was a cool game, as well as the original Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Guilty Gear, the new Dragon Ball Z game, Battle of Z, which is incredible on here. There's only a few things that are a little tedious when you have to use the D-pad and the second analog stick, but besides that, it works relatively well. And it's cool because this is a port of an arcade game, and to play it on a cabinet is incredible. I got Dead or Alive in here. I got Budokai HD, which is really awesome because I'm a huge fan of the Budokai games, and Burst Limit, which I'm a huge fan of. Burst Limit, I think, is very underrated. Aside from the assist cards and stuff, I think it was a very, very good game. The assist cards were a cool idea, but you know, kind of got lost in translation. So let's go ahead and hit X. These are all my games. I got a whole bunch of crap on here. Basically, the funny story is with this Xbox, I used to use this Xbox every single day up until, man, 3 years ago, and then I started buying real games. So if you're paying close attention to the titles on here, you'll notice that a lot of these titles aren't really that new, because I pretty much stopped putting games on here 3 years ago. So let's go back. Let's head into the Xbox Live Arcade version of it. And I think this is where it really shines. There are a lot of really awesome games on here. Alien Hominid works perfectly on here, as well as some other stuff like Castlevania works really good, Clash of Heroes, Crazy Taxi. Now obviously I don't have a wheel, but I do have an Xbox 360 wheel, which I feel, no rhyme intended, which I feel would fit relatively perfect right here. If I just set it up, I think it would work really cool. I could just put the pedals down here and drive like that. I think that'd be cool. I don't know. But a lot of these games work really, really well. Let's see, Fruit Ninja obviously not, but Galaga is awesome on here. Geometry Wars, you can set it to dual analogs with both of these sticks, but since it's not a true analog, it only has 8-way directionals. You can either, it locks like in 8 ways, it doesn't go all the way around, so it's not really that fun to play. Half Minute Heroes good's on here, Limbo is good on here. The Mega Mans are pretty good on here. They're relatively hard games, 9 and 10, so I would not recommend playing them on the X Arcade, but it's still pretty fun. What else is fun on here? Outland is cool. Pac-Man Championship Edition, which a lot of people don't know, but aside from the original Pac-Man, the guy who developed the original Pac-Man, he only made one other game, and it was Pac-Man Championship Edition, and it's really, really fun. Peggle is awesome. I never want to hear anyone say it's not awesome. Bust a Move is really good on here, as well as Rocket Knight. Scott Pilgrim, this is a phenomenal game, and it feels really, really good playing it on the arcade. As well as your Sonic, Super Meat Boy is pretty fun on here. Torchlight is good. Turtles in Time, the remake, it just depends. I know a lot of people who really, really love it. I know a lot of people who really, really hate it. I'm kind of in the middle. So, I don't know. It's fun, but, you know, not as fun as I'd want it to be. But basically that's it. This is it on the Xbox 360 side. You can go into emulators and stuff, but since I have my original Xbox in here, I play all my emulators on that because it's just presented better, and I don't have any cover art for this and whatever. But that's basically it for my X Arcade. I think this thing is awesome. Let me go ahead and switch it to some better eye candy while I explain some of the other stuff about it. Yeah, I think this thing is incredible. I really, really enjoyed it. Now, the price tag for this specific model, which fits the dual stick, is $399. I got it when it had free shipping, and it was that was a great deal, $399 for all this. Now I'm seeing that shipping is actually $80 or $70 or $80, somewhere around that price point. But I've actually heard that people have emailed them directly and asked if they still offer, you know, any coupons, and they've given them coupons for free shipping, and that's awesome. Now, if you do end up having to pay the shipping cost, let me assure you, they treat this stuff very, very nicely. They put it in these huge boxes with bunches of bubble wrap and everything cellophane wrapped individually, and it's just awesome. It comes in 3 separate packages. They no longer ship freight, so everything comes in everything comes in UPS, and it's really, really, really convenient. The only downside is if your UPS person is you know, not physically fit, it's a little strenuous on them. I have 2 normal UPS people, one huge dude, 300 pounds easy, 6 feet tall, and then this little lady. I felt so bad because the day it came, I was hoping, like I was praying that it was just the dude, but it was this little lady. She came to the door and she said, "Hey, I hate to bother, but can you please help me with this stuff?" So that's probably the only downside. But not only is the shipping handled great, but they ship fast. I ordered this on Monday. I must have put my information in Monday. It was shipped Tuesday morning, and it got to my house on Thursday. Now that is incredible. Now it might just be how close I am to them. I live in South Carolina, and I think they ship out of either Georgia or Florida. I'm not too certain at the moment, but it shouldn't take more than 5 days. I think that's what their website said. But like I said earlier, the installation was so easy, stupid easy. I did it in probably it realistically took me about 2 hours, but if I compressed everything into the knowledge I have now, it would probably only take me an hour, if that. It was so easy to put together. The instructions were very easy to read, and they gave you a whole bunch of extra parts and everything. Basically, if you're on the fence about getting your own arcade, having the arcade experience in your home, and you're thinking about getting the X Arcade and you don't have the know-how to build your own, you don't have any woodworking tools, you live in an apartment, stuff like that, and this is you're basically your only option, don't hesitate and do it, because this is incredible. Whether you're putting, you know, a modded Xbox in there or a PC, you can even put regular games in here. Your Xbox doesn't have to be modded in order to use the X Arcade. It's just a little dongle that you put on to your console, and it just remaps everything to the X Arcade. Your system doesn't have to be modded. You can use pretty much every system under the sun except for the Xbox 360. No, except for the Xbox One and PS4 and some other older consoles like SNES and stuff. I think it works anything from PS1. It works PS1, PS2, GameCube, Wii, Xbox, PS3, Xbox 360, and Dreamcast. And I think that's basically what it covers. But if you have a backwards compatible PS3, you know, it'll work with your PS2 stuff. It'll work with your PS1 stuff. Same thing with your Wii. If you don't have a GameCube, it'll work with your GameCube stuff, and it also supports GameCube. So basically, if you just want the arcade experience in your home and you're on the fence with it, about buying the Extension Arcade, I highly, highly recommend it. If you guys have any other questions, you know, about my setup, or if you want me to go into more detail about some stuff, definitely comment below and let me know. And that's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.